Chicago, often referred to as the Windy City, has long captured the imaginations of writers and artists with its rich history, vibrant culture, and architectural marvels. From the gritty realities of urban life to the lofty ambitions of its residents, the city offers a dynamic backdrop for storytelling. The following 10 novels are prime examples of literature that not only takes place in Chicago, but also delves deep into its heart, exploring the lives of its inhabitants across decades of transformation. Number 1. The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, published in 1906, is a groundbreaking work of American literature that exposed the harsh realities of the meatpacking industry in early 20th century Chicago. Sinclair's novel follows Jurgis Rudkus, a Lithuanian immigrant who arrives in Chicago with dreams of a better life, only to be crushed by the brutal working conditions and rampant corruption of the city's industrial world. The novel sheds light on the exploitation of immigrant workers and the unsanitary practices in the stockyards, igniting public outrage and contributing to the passage of new food safety laws. Although Sinclair's primary goal was to promote socialism, remains a vivid portrayal of the working class's struggles and the oppressive capitalist systems in Chicago at the time. Number 2, Native Son by Richard Wright, published in 1940, is a seminal work of American literature that confronts the systemic racism prevalent in 1930s Chicago. The novel follows Bigger Thomas, a young African-American man who lives in the city's impoverished South Side. Bigger's life spirals out of control after a series of tragic events, including the accidental killing of a white woman, Mary Dalton. Richard Wright uses Chicago's segregated neighborhoods and stark racial divides to highlight the ways in which poverty, racism, and fear shape Bigger's life. It is a powerful exploration of race, justice, and identity, and it is still regarded as one of the most important novels about the African-American experience in the U.S. Number 3, The Man with the Golden Arm by Nelson Algren, published in 1949. Nelson Algren's is a gritty, unflinching portrayal of post-World War II Chicago. The novel centers on Frankie Machine, a veteran struggling with drug addiction and his role as a dealer in the city's seedy underworld. Set in the working-class neighborhoods of Chicago, Algren paints a vivid picture of the city's underbelly, full of broken dreams and desperation. The novel's portrayal of addiction and the psychological toll of war earned it critical acclaim and the first-ever National Book Award for fiction. Remains a poignant look at the challenges of recovery and survival in a harsh urban environment. Number 4, The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, 1984. Sandra Cisneros's, published in 1984, is a coming-of-age novel set in a Latino neighborhood in Chicago. Told in a series of vignettes, the story follows Esperanza Cordero, a young girl who dreams of escaping the poverty and limitations of her environment. Through Esperanza's eyes, Cisneros paints a portrait of Chicago's vibrant yet often marginalized Latino community. The novel explores themes of identity, gender, and cultural heritage, as well as the longing for a better future. It has become a classic in American literature, celebrated for its poetic prose and its powerful depiction of the struggles faced by young girls growing up in impoverished neighborhoods. Number 5, Chicago, a novel by Alaa Al-Aswany, 2007. Published in 2007 by Egyptian author Alaa Al-Aswany, offers a fresh perspective on the city through the lens of Middle Eastern immigrants living in America. The novel is set primarily in the academic and medical communities, with much of the story revolving around the lives of Egyptian expatriates in Chicago. Al-Aswany uses the city as a microcosm for exploring larger themes of identity, belonging, political freedom, and the immigrant experience. With its richly drawn characters and complex relationships, is both a love letter to the city and a critical examination of the challenges faced by those seeking a new life in America. Number 6, Sister Carrie by Theodore Dreiser, 1900. Theodore Dreiser's, first published in 1900, is considered one of the most important early American novels. The story follows Carrie Meeber, a young woman from rural Wisconsin who moves to Chicago to find work and ultimately becomes a successful actress. The novel is notable for its unflinching depiction of the moral complexities of urban life, as Carrie navigates her relationships with men and her ambitions for wealth and fame. Dreiser's portrayal of Chicago is both harsh and fascinating, capturing the city's rapid industrial growth and the allure of its opportunities, as well as the often ruthless competition that comes with them. And number 7, Never a City So Real, by Alex Kotlowitz, published in 2004, is not a traditional novel, but a work of literary nonfiction that captures the essence of Chicago's diverse communities. Through a series of intimate portraits, Kotlowitz delves into the lives of everyday Chicagoans, from union organizers and immigrants to artists and activists. The book paints a nuanced picture of a city constantly evolving yet firmly rooted in its history. Kotlowitz's Chicago is full of contradictions, a place where beauty and struggle coexist. His vivid storytelling brings to life the people who make Chicago unique, offering readers a deeper understanding of the city's soul. Number 8, Chicago, by Brian Doyle, published in 2016. Brian Doyle's is a love letter to the city and its people. The novel follows a young man who moves to Chicago in the late 1970s to take a job at a small Catholic magazine. Through his interactions with his neighbors, including an enigmatic woman, a Vietnam veteran, and a variety of animals, Doyle presents a lyrical exploration of urban life. The novel is not so much about plot as it is about capturing the essence of Chicago's neighborhoods and the deep sense of community that can be found within them. It is both a celebration of the city's quirks and an affectionate portrayal of its residents. 9. Devil in the White City by Erik Larson, published in 2003, is a gripping historical narrative that intertwines the stories of two men during the 1893 Chicago World's Fair: Daniel Burnham, the brilliant architect behind the fair, and H.H. Holmes, one of America's first serial killers. Larson's meticulous research brings to life both the triumphs and horrors of the Gilded Age, with Chicago serving as the perfect backdrop for the clash of innovation and darkness. While technically a work of nonfiction, reads like a novel, immersing readers in the splendor and danger of Chicago at the turn of the 20th century. 10. Spoon River Anthology by Edgar Lee Masters, published in 1915. While not strictly set in Chicago, Edgar Lee Masters has a deep connection to the city. The collection of poetic monologues from the deceased residents of a fictional small town in Illinois was heavily influenced by Masters' experiences as a Chicago lawyer. The anthology critiques the hypocrisy and moral decay of small-town America, themes that resonated with the progressive intellectual circles of Chicago. Masters' work had a significant impact on the literary community in the city, and it remains a unique, haunting exploration of Midwestern life that carries the spirit of Chicago's evolving cultural identity. Conclusion. Chicago has long been a city of contrasts, gritty and glamorous, aspirational and despairing. These novels showcase the many facets of life in the Windy City, from its industrial rise and racial divides to its immigrant stories and artistic communities. Each author uses Chicago as both a setting and a character, capturing the essence of the city in all its complexity. Whether through stories of ambition, struggle, or transformation, these novels remind us of the enduring power of place in shaping the human experience.